The next panel, Michelle Balin, Christine Boswell, David Waxman, Monica Guzman, Christy Ann Collins-Dixon, Rachel Stevens, to be followed by Nisha Rohde, Karen Rankin, Kimberly Stenlove, Adria Hughes, Mary Burchard, Amy Deep. Michelle Balin.
Oh, I'm right here.
I should know that. Is Michelle Balin?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Madam Chairman and members, my name is Michelle Balin, and I am representing myself for the bill. I live in Senator West District. When I was 16, I gave $200 to my friend to have an abortion. In college, I was pro-choice. I wouldn't have had an abortion, but I thought it was okay for someone else. When I was 28, I had an illness, and the woman who worked for me contemplated an abortion. I did not try to discourage her because I was concerned about what would happen to me. I am grieved by this because I had believed lies. God is the Creator God, and He had decided that I should have life long before I was conceived. He wove me together in my mother's womb, and He decided the time and places of my birth for the purpose that I would reach for Him. I believe God wants all of us to know that He loves us, and He wants to have a relationship with each one of us that's made possible through the blood of Jesus Christ, who has forgiven my sin and whose righteousness is imputed to us when we believe. I close with His words, first from the book of Job. Ask the beasts, let them teach you. Let the birds of heaven tell you. Speak to the earth and let it teach you. Let the fish of the sea declare to you. Who of these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this, in whose hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind? In whose hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind? And from Revelation, worthy are you, O Lord our God, to receive glory and honor and power, because you created all things, and by your will all things exist and were created. Thank you.
Thank you. You are Michelle.
Yes.
Christine Boswell.
Yes. Thank you, committee members. My name is Christine Boswell. I am here as a Latina on behalf of myself to speak against SB 1. I am a constituent of Troy Fraser, District 24. I am married. My husband and I have been together for 20 years, and we have 2 children. There is a prevailing thought which disturbs me. Women who get abortions or who are pro-choice, such as myself, are, aside from being perceived as whores, are considered murderers. These are heartless and judgmental words which provoke much hate and violence towards people with choice. It begs the question, what is life worth to you? Most would argue that it's priceless, but is that really true? I ask this because I do not have a clear definition from this government, the state of Texas government, which Texans whose lives are worth saving and which Texans are to die, aside from the people on death row. Apparently, my egg is a life worth saving, but the 12 responders in West Texas fertilizer plant are not lives worth saving, especially since certain senators have made it clear that their trepidation in regulating chemical plants because there's a point where you overregulate. These are quotes. My fetus is a life worth saving, but the thousands of poor women in need of breast cancer screenings, birth control, and other access to free, life-saving, basic health care in which women could potentially and who do die without it, are not lives worth saving? A pregnancy resulting in rape is a life worth saving, but the psychological life of my marriage and the life of my children's psychological well-being are lives not worth saving. This religious idea that women are to be sacrificed as lambs to every sperm-donating rapist the world is completely immoral. The very idea that I, a 41-year-old woman...
Your time's up.
Thank you.
David Waxman.
My name is David Waxman, and I'm here representing the Jubilee Campaign's Law of Life project, where I'm senior counsel. And I'm also representing myself, and I took my hat off as I was requested to do so, but I have my blue University of Texas hat with me just to remind people that there are many people here wearing blue who do bleed burnt orange. I'm here.
I get it.
I'm here as an attorney mainly to speak on the constitutionality of SB 1. All three of the enhanced regulations, the 20-week part of the law, the RU 486 making medical abortions follow FDA recommended standards, as well as the enhanced regulations for abortion facilities are all completely constitutional. They're all based on very multiple legitimate state interests, mainly protecting women. The state can protect women through restricting abortion, and that's what they're here to do. So this isn't to ban abortion or block abortion. It's to protect women and make this safer. People who I've heard many times talk about back alley abortions, but if you're so concerned about abortions in back alleys and harm from that, why are you not hearing the harm that's coming from currently legal abortion? Legal does not equal safe, and this is trying to achieve safe. I mean, this additionally protects unborn children and the medical community, but I believe that protecting women is the main goal, and that's a legitimate state interest. There's no substantial obstacle being created to access to abortion in Texas. Abortion is not being banned in Texas. All facilities are not going to be closing in Texas, and I welcome constitutional analysis of these laws because they follow Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, and cases that have established a federal right to abortion that many people think is going away is not being ended here in Texas.
Thank you. Monica Guzman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. I'm Monica Guzman, native Austinite, residing in East Austin. I'm represented by Senator Judith Zaffarini and Representative Eddie Rodriguez. I oppose Senate Bill 1. I am pro-women, pro-women's health care. That is my position. I oppose Senate Bill 1 because I believe it and its House companion are regarding anything but improving or protecting my or any other woman's health. It's bullying from the legislative pulpits. It's an attempt to force-feed religious beliefs in violation of my constitutional rights. It is classist, racist, bigoted, misogynistic legislative oppression, nothing less. Senate Bill 1 and its House companion will deprive many women, especially women existing at or near poverty levels, women of color, of needed health care options. Should this bill become law, how many women will lack access to birth control information and available options? How many women will lack access to prenatal care? Are you prepared to provide financial support and transportation for them for health care or abortion is no longer available because you closed existing facilities? Are you prepared to provide financial support for unwanted pregnancies carried to term, yet given up for adoption, left at churches and fire stations, or tragically abandoned on the streets? Are you prepared for unwanted pregnancies that they will be raised by their birth mother but can't afford to support them? Are you going to provide them with health care, food availability, safe homes, public education? You go on about protecting innocent unborn, yet once born, you have no qualms abandoning the very same children by way of budget cuts to health care, social programs, and public education. As for children already living at stages of poverty, you left them at the curb long ago as the dust settled on legislative budget cuts and the ink dried on Governor Perry's signature for the same.
Thank you, ma'am. Christy Ann Collins Dixon. I'm Christy Ann Dixon, and I am the Executive Director of the Pregnancy and Parenting Support Centers of Galveston County. I'm here today to be a voice for the young women who spend more than 600 hours a month at our facilities, earning diapers, wipes, food, formula, clothing, baby furniture, and the other things that they need in order to provide for their babies. And I want to thank you for addressing what I consider to be very critical issues. Many of the moms that come to our center come because they previously had abortions, and they now want support so that they never again have to live through the trauma of the abortion that they experienced. And I'm here today to ask you to support Bill SB 1. It's funny, you see the orange shirts ask you to stand with Texas women. Well, I kind of want to revive the words that Brandon Sullivan made famous and said, what do you think the blue shirts are, potted plants? I mean, we here, too, asking you to stand to protect preborn, to protect Texas women. Right to life advocates want these women here. We want you to stand. We want you to stand and protect women from predatory medical practices. We want you to stand for the women and demand that abortionists who profit from the abortion procedures be available to repair the damage that they inflict. We want to ask you to stand for the preborn women of Texas. The idea that any doctor in Texas can perform an invasive medical procedure without being available for medical follow-up is unconscionable. The idea that any doctor can perform invasive medical procedures in an unlicensed facility is a threat to every Texan. The women in Texas are not idiots. The rhetoric that this bill condemns women to back alley abortions is nothing short of foolish. Do we think for even a minute that women or doctors would ever revert to back alley processes because medical safety standards would be raised by this bill? Please have the courage to protect all Texan women, both born and preborn. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Stevens?
My name is Rachel Stevens, and I oppose Senate Bill 1. I'm a native Texan, and in the past I voted Republican. But after witnessing the ignorance and arrogance of our state Republicans' leadership for the past couple of weeks, I will not and cannot, in good conscience, support them. It is obvious to any intelligent mind that is honestly paying attention that this bill has nothing to do with protecting the health and safety of women and has everything to do with a far-right agenda that contradicts core conservative values, small government, and respect for individual rights and freedoms. The author of this bill claims her and his primary motive is protecting the health and safety of Texas women, but they have no substantive knowledge of the issue at hand. Based on their testimony the past few weeks, it appears they didn't even consult relevant medical professionals when constructing this bill. The fact that the Texas Hospital Association and ACOG oppose this bill should be reason enough to reject what's going on here. We all know the real motive is simple: to close clinics that provide abortions. The authors just don't have the guts to be honest about their intentions, and neither do some of you who are up here. I will not vote for a Republican candidate again unless I see leadership that I can actually respect. Respect is earned through honest, thoughtful actions. I urge you to think for yourself and vote honestly on this bill. I believe if you do that, you'll find yourself voting against it. And please don't stand idly by when you see your colleagues bend and even break the law in their favor. It is wrong, it is shameful, and it is an embarrassment to the high offices you hold. The decision you must make on this issue has implications far greater than whether or not this bill passes. The men and women of your constituencies are watching, and there is still time for you to make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you to this panel. If you'll leave out that way, the